Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show.
Welcome back.
Today we're going to talk about Halo Season 2.
We literally never talk about something that I've wanted to watch or enjoy. Everything we've ever sat and talked about, I've always felt like I don't want to watch this, and every time I've always been like proven correct.
But you love Halo.
I know. Bad is such a general term. What I will say, it's passionless, it's directionless, it looks like a fan film. No matter how much money they throw at any of these productions, the running Spartans in real life always just look so stupid. They look so deadbeat dumb. They look like a cosplayer made a fan film.
Can we talk, we'll just start off by talking about stuff that we liked about the season, if there are any positives.
You should probably go first.
I'll start. I thought that first 15-minute scene in the very beginning was almost perfect. I liked all the little details of it. I liked how the Marines got sucked back into the fog. That was a very dramatic way of, even though, like, why wouldn't the elites just stab them? Who gives a shit? It's
I don't care about
that
stuff
way.
like that anymore.
I liked how the chief was like, everyone else dies except him and Perez, and he's like feeling his way back, and he like grabs onto her. And he's like, "What's your name?" And that felt like a very chief thing to do. And then when they show the ships glassing the planet, I was like, that's so fucking cool. We've never actually seen that happen from that perspective, where the thing's actually hitting right there and it's like melting the ground. I was like, that's awesome. The scene between Keyes and Ackerson when they're talking about evacuating Reach, I thought that was really good. The Riz storyline was fairly emotional. And then little bits and pieces, like when they start showing the Forerunner stuff in the second to last episode, that felt like Halo. Stuff. It's just little things like that give me
it's like
hope.
It's like
I'm an old man. I have to take what I can get. This is the only Halo live action we're probably ever gonna get.
I don't expect you to like it, but we have to accept it.
What's your favorite restaurant in the whole world?
Burger King.
Okay. You go to Burger King. You love Burger King. Then one day, you go to your favorite Burger King, and you don't see your favorite Burger King employee in the back, in the kitchen, making your burger. You see me. You see me making your food back there. It's like, do you hope that they'll get better, but if I'm in the kitchen, ain't no way stuff's getting better.
I'm just saying.
You know what I mean? Ain't no way. If Kiki Wolfkill or all these people that are in charge of the creative decisions, they're not going to make the right decision.
You know what the worst part about the show is?
What?
I mean, as a Halo fan, it's like, all right, you're gonna change the medium. Things have to change. We've talked about it before. There's plot holes in Halo. There's a bunch of silly shit that happens. But it's like, so much of it I'm fine with. Like the fact that after Reach, they go onto a different planet and they like mourn the loss of Vanek. I was totally fine with that. I don't care that he didn't directly go on the Pillar of Autumn and crash land on Halo. But then there's so much shit that they changed in the show for no discernible reason. Why did Captain Keyes die? Why did they never go on the Pillar of Autumn? Why did the Flood have to get released in the last episode? Doesn't the Flood getting released in the last episode once again kill the mystery of Halo to some degree? They already kind of started ruining that when they said that Halo is a weapon in Season 1. That was like the magical thing about in the game. You land on the ring and you're like,
you don't
what the
know
fuck
what
is
it
this?
is.
Yeah, you have no idea. And it's unraveled throughout the course of that game. So it's like, and maybe they'll prove
Joyless.
Maybe they'll prove me wrong.
They won't. They'll prove me right.
I'm sure they will. But it was like all these decisions, and these are like simple, big picture decisions that matter. Because there's not that much in the first game I was thinking about that are like, I was like, what are some iconic things I want to see from Halo 1? Like, all right, I want to see them go into these escape pods and crash land on the ring. I want that to be a cool scene. That's like the best cutscene in the first game. I want Keys to fall to the flood. I want there to be a Warthog run at the end. If they don't fucking do that in the show...
They're probably gonna.
They better.
They probably will, but it's like...
They've ruined everything else that's
it doesn't matter. It's like...
And these are like, at the end of the day, these are like nostalgic... Some people could call them nitpicks because it doesn't really impact the overall story. It's like, I'm sure Parangoski is going to take over for Keys, or someone else will. Maybe Ackerson will take over for Keys in Halo in Season 3. But it's just all these little things add up, and they were just like pissing me off. The fact that Reach was just like one episode, it's like, all right, you have a TV show budget. So it's like, when episode 5 came around and I was like, oh, that was the end of Reach? I thought that was going to be like the rest of the season. But it's like, all right, it's a TV show, they have to constantly be telling a story. They can't just have boom, boom, bang, bang for 8 episodes. But like, show the tragedy of it. It kind of felt like, I remember thinking at the end of the game Reach, you didn't even have a shot of like the ships glassing the planet at the end. It's like, show a little bit of that. Show the people trying to get away and getting shot down by the Covenant, because I just feel like you didn't really get the sense of loss.
I don't know. It's like with the show, like with that show, just like so much mass death happens. It's like you're kind of like disconnected from it a little bit. You know,
but you don't feel it. You should be able to feel it a little bit more.
That's what I'm saying. Well, yeah.
They should have. I mean, that's why the very first episode, they had that shot where the beam is like hitting those people and everyone's getting fucking blasted away. I'm like, sick. You're actually making the Covenant feel a little bit like a threat right now. It's like there should be more things like that. They did a little bit of it in episode 4, certainly, but you know, I just felt like there should have been more people getting killed.
One thing is, what I think it really all comes down to, it's like, I watched it, and you know, you think about what decisions could have been made differently, like from a narrative perspective to make a more interesting story. But it's like there's just nothing in the filmmaking of it. There's like half the time the shots aren't even like thought out. It's very clear that like a scene will play. It'll be, first of all, it's the handy cam. It's like this handheld cam that really makes it feel like a fan film to me. It just comes off really flat because I feel like a lot of there's like no sense of cinema in like...
Steve, I have many problems with the show, but I would have to hard disagree with that. I mean, it's a TV show, and I think they talked about it in the behind the scenes, though. It was like they had to... You only have a couple weeks to prepare for these like action scenes. So they had to do it in like a run and gun style kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'll give you this much.
But then that doesn't work.
Let me say this much for you. The fight at the very end between the Chief and the Arbiter, I thought that looked like
it was terrible.
Shit. Yeah,
it was horrible.
But that's also because of the setting. Like the previous action scenes are hectic and they're supposed to be crazy and shaky cam because so much shit's going on. But at the very end, it's like these two guys are having a duel on a serene, peaceful.
That's the thing. It's like
thing.
Yeah, it's like this is
Lock
like the
the
final,
camera down.
Yeah, this is like the final fight. There's like no. I was funny. It's like I was watching the fight and I was like, this fight is so much less interesting than any fight that Peter Griffin and the Giant Chicken have ever had.
The biggest problem with the show, in my opinion, aside from the stuff that I don't like that they're changing for no reason, is Master Chief's character. So in season 1, he discovers his humanity. He takes the emotional pellet out. He fucks a prisoner of war. Sure. But in season 2, they keep giving Chief these like really stupid television motivations. So like the first half is more or less fine. He's questioning Ackerson because he knows that the Spartan team left somewhere and he wants to warn them. But that's fine, right? Then his armor gets taken away in episode 4. And then at the end of episode 5, he's like, I have to get revenge on Ackerson and Parangoski.
I will find the ones who caused your death, and I will end them.
So then he flies to wherever the fuck, that other planet, and then he says when he finds Ackerson, I was gonna kill you.
Well, I came here to punch a hole in your chest.
And then he gets his ass kicked by Kai, and Cortana kind of like brings him back to life a little bit and says like, hey, McKee's on this ship and you have to stop her. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. And then Cortana's like, and also the Arbiter who killed your friend Vanek is on that ship. And he's like, the fuck you say?
Tell me how to find him.
How stupid.
It is really dumb to give Master Chief like a revenge. That's like not what he's at all.
But you know what's crazy? The idea of him questioning authority is perfectly fine. Because Oni is a bunch of scumbags. That's the whole thing. All the little inner workings of that between Parangoski and Ackerson and they're fucking shady and all that shit. That's fine. But to make the chief this guy who his main motivation for the last half of the season is like a revenge mission is so stupid. He's still the main Spartan. He should still be thinking of saving humanity more than anything else.
They want to do this like murky morality thing where like no one is truly the good or bad or whatever. And it's like just another disconnect between the show and the game is that, you know, there's joy to be had in the game. And it's like the show is like a smart show that's dumb. That's the problem. Is that they want to be a smart show that balances all these different human emotions and power dynamics and all that, but then there's a guy with 4 mouths with a sword and like hundreds of them, and you got to go into a space fight.
It's like there's 4 mouths.
Doesn't he have 4 mouths?
What?
An elite has 4 mouths.
4 mouths?
4 jaws.
Yeah. He doesn't
one
have
mouth,
4
4 mouths,
mouths.
1 jaw. 1 jaw.
You fucking idiot.
1 jaw.
You were just talking about
4
stupid.
jaws. 1 mouth. 1 summer.
Yeah.
Man for steel. The man has 4 jaws. That's my thing. It's like they wanna do smart character work, but they're dumb. But then you have access to all this cool dumb stuff. Aliens, weapons, fighting, you know, space battles, all stuff that would be really cool and doesn't need to be morally complicated or...
Well, Halo 2 is a little morally complicated.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're not losing... Like, there's a joy and a drive and an energy. There's no energy behind this show.
No, I hear what you're saying.
There's absolutely no energy behind the show. I think that's what really... Like, so now we're getting into, like, you know, spoiler. When the Guilty Sparks thing, I knew that was Guilty Sparks, and I was like, you're not doing any effects on the voice. You're not, like you're not making the character interesting at all. And it's like, was it to get me to not realize that it was Guilty Sparks? Because now, okay, so now the character's here. So now it's just... Guilty Sparks. You want to hear my Guilty Sparks impression in the show?
Sure.
Hey, it's me, Guilty Sparks. How's it going? Yeah, I know a little bit about what's going on around here in the dark. I actually know a lot of it. I know a lot.
Are you saying Guilty Sparks to be funny?
No. 343 Guilty... I got it wrong. Guilty Spark.
Yeah. It's funny thinking that his name is... Yo, Guilty Sparks!
Yo, Guilty Sparks!
What's up, Guilty
Bubba
Sparks?
Sparks' brother. Guilty Sparks.
Yeah.
343 Guilty Spark.
Yes.
I'll be watching.
If you're gonna do Halo, it feels like it should be one thing or the other. Either you do the shady Oni storyline, and that's a separate show without the Master Chief in it. That can be your character-focused, gritty, dark show. Or you make a big, fun, stupid, blockbustery action thing, which is what Halo, the games are.
It's so crazy. It's like you have all the resources to make something like that. And if you want to tell like, you know, those character stories or whatever, because you have all this big scenery, when you take those moments to do character moments, they actually mean something and they're worthwhile because it's not a bunch of noise. It's not just a bunch of different morally murky storylines. Like, you're in a very clearly defined space, and then when that tone is broken through, you know, actions becoming too serious or whatever, like, it actually has some kind of importance that it can get the effect of a show that, I guess, you know, like a Game of Thrones or just whatever that means. Like, I guess they want to just be smart and action. I think that's like what Game of Thrones is like. Oh, lots of stuff going on, questionable morality, and big action scenes.
It could have just been a fun show. It didn't need to be.
No.
It's like the one time where I'm like, just put more cool shit in it. That's like what all the fans want. You notice how all the fans are happy every time there's a big battle scene?
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh like, shit.
Yeah,
that's all we want.
So, you want to talk about Ghostbusters?
What?